Formerly known for being the best-kept secret in Savannah, the Small Business Assistance Corporation has embarked upon its 35th anniversary milestone year. But do you know how it all started? Let's journey back to the beginning.
Well, for me, it all began in Long Beach, California, and I was reading a trade journal, and there was an advertisement for a director for a certified development company. I was working for a certified development company at the time. I was working with the city of Long Beach, doing SBA loans. So that was my whole career, and sat for interview, and I was blessed, fortunate to get the job. From the get-go, I was blessed to have people supporting the organization and supporting the mission. All those founders, if you will, that basically essentially brought me in. The Chamber of Commerce, the banking community, and the city of Savannah and the black community, they put the board together. And that was the first board. It was full of leadership, and David Bick was the chairman, and he was very gracious. And Helen Head and legacy leaders like that basically brought me around, introduced me to leadership in business, minority business. It was just a good beginning. There was a lot of concern about how banks were doing business in Savannah, particularly for minority business. The city decided that they needed to do something, but not only the city, the business community, the banking community, and certainly the black leadership. The city made available $200,000 to make loans, and that's not a lot of money when you have a long line of people waiting for loans. So being an SBA guy, I started out with, okay, we're going to do economic development lending, and then also try and leverage as much as possible the banks. And so it was important that the banks support SBAC. So that was the beginning, and that's how it went down for the first year. Hired some great people, Stephen George, Mike Bunn, Terry McCoy, Lyndon DeLoach. I mean, all of us started this thing with an entrepreneurial attitude that, we wanted this to succeed for the mission and for Savannah. And so it was great to get started. There was a level of mistrust around Johnson Square, which essentially at that time was, Savannah's Wall Street, with the city also. So we decided then, okay, look, we have to build trust. We have to build trust in the community. We have to build trust with the banking community. We have to build trust with the small business community in general in order for this organization to be sustainable and to be relevant to Savannah.
At the time that SBAC came on board, it was very much needed in the community. We needed to be able to help small businesses to be able to thrive. And this is one of the ways that we knew we could pull something together to at least help them along the way. It seemed at times most of our challenges was having enough capital. It almost seemed like everybody thought they never had enough, always needed more. But SBAC was there to encourage them, to show them the way, and to put some guidelines in place to help them to be successful.
We only had a little bit of money, so we started, instead of growing regionally, we decided, hey, we're going to grow through product lines. And that's how relevance became the hallmark of what made us different than a CDC. So we said, well, let's get more licenses, let's get more certificates, let's get more programs, let's get more expertise, let's get more dedicated personnel. We started with packaging loans. Doing that, we tried to introduce ourselves to the banks. We installed with CDBG dollars a guarantee program for the banks. We offered them a 90% guarantee if they participated with us to do demographic loans, program loans. And through understanding our SBA expertise, we established some confidence with our local banking community that we were indeed financial experts in these things and that they could rely on us. And that grew trust and that grew relevance and gave us some momentum to withstand some of these economic cycles that we go through, small businesses go through. And we were successful in making and establishing minority businesses. SBAC could never do it all. SBAC by its very nature and its startup, was a collaborator. We always work with our banks in terms of participating in loans. We worked with SBDC because they were education And we were always working with SCORE. Through all volunteer folks, and we started SBRS. And what that was Small Business Resources in Savannah. And that was all of us were talking together. All those components necessary for a successful small business development system. We're actually talking at least quarterly around the table, telling their agenda, telling what they've done, telling what they wanted to do. We were collaborating to that extent to where we weren't stepping all over each other's products. But it, here again, was a facilitation of small business growth, from seedbed to establishment to sustainability to growth.
We started out just having money from the city of Savannah, had a small pot for loan funds, right? And we were, on the verge of exhausting that pretty quickly because it wasn't a large pot of money, so Tony had to go out, pretty quickly and find other sources of revenue, and that was the case throughout the history of SBAC. One of the early was the SBA microloan that we applied for and received that. We were able to get USDA funds and kind of go rural. So a lot of things had to come together.
Through that building of the loan programs, what we would call a ladder of success. It's a grid, and you can go through it. They start from the $5.5 million loans right down to small steps, which includes folks that, it's $2,500. And why would you make a business loan for $2,500? Well, particularly because we had to turn a lot of people down. Okay, and so, but we didn't want to just say sorry. We said, sorry, we have to turn you down, but this is a way to get to the money that you want.
During the 2008 depression through 2011, we had many businesses to encounter stress, and they suffered as far as closing and weren't able to make it. But fortunately, we were able to step in and help quite a bit of businesses. Now, one of the major programs that we had that was impacted negatively was SBA 504, which was our larger volume type in dollars, that is, program. This caused individuals to, close. And fortunately, however, SBAC in many cases was able to help businesses survive because we had internal programs that kind of offset some of those damages. But that was a very trying time. We also encountered the COVID pandemic issues during that time. This was a situation where we were able to still help offset some of the losses by the businesses by assisting them with some of the internal programs that we had.
We just had to keep the nose to the grindstone and keep going out there. Sometimes the loans would be few and far between, and you're kind of sitting there questioning yourself to say, hey, how can I justify, sitting here collecting salary when, nothing's happening, but you just keep pushing. And, sometimes it gets a little dry, but then, you have some success, and that's what it takes to keep you motivated and keep going.
Tony, Steve, and I have worked very closely together. Although Steve was over a different department, being in servicing, he being in production, Tony over administration, we were able to, you might say, paddle the boat through good times and bad times. We became also personal friends as far as over time because we developed that synergy in order to be able to do what we did to fulfill the mission of SBAC.
It was fun in a lot of ways working with the entrepreneurs and business owners, and everybody had that single mindset, to serve the community, and that was really kind of the glue that held everybody together. Always a challenge, so it was never boring there.
Mr. Tony O'Reilly, he was somebody different. His works will reflect who he is. He's done it. Never, ever heard a negative comment about Tony being unfair or blind to the needs of the community. Very creative person, always sought ways to unite people to see a way to do something financially. There are some very large majority-owned businesses in this town that started out with the help of Tony and the SBAC.
Really, I don't know if I would have done this work as long as I've done if it wasn't for Tony and Jenny O'Reilly. And that goes for Stephen George, Tyrone, Linda, Terry McCoy. We had a great group of employees here down here at SBAC. Could feel comfortable walking in at any time and just touch base with them and just feel very comfortable. So that's one reason why I continued to serve, I feel like it. I didn't ever want to let Tony down.
35 years of an organization growing with the small business community now of Southeast Georgia. That is something that we all can be proud of, so very much so. The good souls, those that have gone on, and the people that are still here and celebrating these 35 years, understand it because they've contributed to a great organization.